Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Paul.
Welcome to the Twin Perspective.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Paul.
Anyways, good to see you. I don't know if you're really excited to see me, but I'm excited to see you. All right. So it's great to be back here again and just, quick things to discuss about in reality of what's going on in the nursing practice. And lots of people have been watching the podcast and asking questions about, oh, what are the things that, as nurses, your brother is a nurse, you've been a nurse. What are the things we should learn or practice that you've experienced that you can give us like some tips on how to survive nursing? Well, it's not a survival, but sometimes you need the survival kit to be able to move into the practice. So, Peter, I'm just going to ask you banter to see what you feel with your own practice, and I will share my own practice to people. So, some of the unspoken rules that I thought to share with people is talking about the time in nursing that you need to be able to escalate. What time do you need to escalate, or do you feel as a new nurse in the practice, if you're being told to do something, do you have to do it? If you don't even know how to do it, but because you don't want people to feel, I don't know how to do this, you just decide to try. At what point do you escalate this?
From day one.
Can you expatiate more on that?
I don't know how it is, but I know that now when you just done with nursing school and you get your license, there's what we call a residency program that nurses also do also. And that way you have a preceptor, you have people that are training you in stuff. Then you graduate to be by yourself. The orders providers are going to put in. And I tell people, not all orders that comes by providers means that it's right.
Hmm.
If at any time you second guess yourself or you feel like, hey, I don't know if this is right, the fact that your instinct first gives you that thing to say, I'm not sure, even though there's an order for it, question it. I tell people, I said, don't ask like you're telling them they don't know their job, but I start like this. I'm like, hey, Dr. T, for educational purposes, for me, are we doing this? That's my own. That's how I start. Make them feel important too. Then they tell me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I thought it was this way. Then we reason together. If they could justify it, or if I justify mine,
Hmm.
there's something. Or you find your preceptor first, that someone that you know that is a more skilled nurse that's been there, and I said, what do you think about this order? Because your license is on the line.
Got you. Got you.
It's not, no one's going to say the provider, oh, there was an order in for it, but you carried it out.
Hmm. That's true.
So,
Absolutely. So, great. So, I think the first do's, so we're going to do five do's, okay? Five do's you should have in the nursing
wow.
practice, okay? The first do that we just said now is escalate early. The second do that I also feel we should talk about is document it like it will be revealed. Do you feel that, there's a practice they always tell us when we're in school? If it's not documented, it was never done.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel for nurses? How should they do it? How should documentation be like when they're in school? Should they document immediately it happens, or they should document it later?
Well, I'll say that real time documentation is always the best because that way you can remember everything exactly how it happened. The reality of nursing,
Mm.
especially like I work in the ED, so sometimes it's really hard to do a real time documentation.
Yeah.
However, I tell people just you can have a notepad or something, or you can scribble things down, just the major things, so that you
Yeah.
don't forget,
Point.
like
Yeah.
the times, the person that was involved.
Mhm.
Scribble things down so that when you're trying to document afterwards,
You have the
that could
old
help you
details.
out to gather your thoughts together.
Absolutely.
Because there's been so many issues or so many times where you think you're gonna do it later, and when later comes, you don't
You
really
don't get
remember
it
a
done.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't even do it, you
Mm.
know, and you don't know, like they do the random reviews, and you don't know if it's gonna be the patient you were with that they're gonna review next, and like, oh my God, what did you do? So it's happened to the best of us. I say that, when I started as a new nurse, I know that I've been called in before, like, oh, why didn't you do this? I'm like, I did it. And then they're trying to go through the documents, but I don't see it. I'm like,
Right.
I sent it to the provider. So even when you send a message to the provider, it should be documented to say, hey,
You
I
sent it
reached
to
out
the
to the
provider.
provider,
Yeah.
put his
Yeah.
name.
So thank you so much for that insight. So the third one I was thinking about we should talk about is how to have a structured communication. Okay. Because sometimes, especially when you're panicking or you want to pass a message with clarity, how do you talk to a difficult senior or colleague or doctor in terms of communication, having a structured communication?
The first word panic should not even be in existence because when you panic, things are going wrong. What I'm trying to insinuate is this: when I've seen people like in chaos or when we have traumas, panicking, and that way your brain is not thinking right because you got to calm down. I like organized chaos, you
Mm,
know. So even though it's chaotic, but I'm still organized in my head. Like, okay,
right.
pause, pause first because when you don't pause and you just jump in that panic mode, a lot of things goes wrong. Even your communication to whoever you're trying to communicate to might not come as clear as it should be. And in situations like that, clarity and precision is very, very key because what you're saying to the next person might actually save a life.
Absolutely. So you're saying right here, we need to call with clarity, because I've seen, well, even while I was a young nurse, and we started to do something, and there was a time, something happened in the ward where I was actually there, and I was panicking, and I could not communicate what happened well to the senior colleague who was there, and they were asking what went wrong, but I could not put my thoughts together to say this was what went wrong. And that clarity was there. And what you said, like having, our job sometimes leads to chaos, but we should also be calm in that chaos and be because the nurses or the patients, they look to us. If they see you panicking, then all hope is lost.
Yeah. Um, and one thing I say is I understand it comes with practice, it comes with training,
True.
you know. I still love, 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 love my flight attendant training. I feel like being a flight attendant also made me a better nurse. Um, because when you're on the plane and there's a turbulence and the plane is going up and down, people look at the flight attendants, right?
Oh my goodness. I do that all the time.
So
I do that.
imagine you look at a flight attendant and the flight attendant is also like, doing this or
Right.
showing, and
Yeah.
you're like, damn,
There's
all hope is
panic.
right, all
There's
hope is
panic.
lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you look at the
Yeah.
flight attendant and they're still smiling at you and they're still like, it's okay, even though it's
Yeah.
not really okay, but it still
But
gives you a little bit of confidence or a little bit of
right. Right.
assurance to say, okay, they're not
They
running
they
yet.
they're not running. Yeah. They're
Right,
not panicking. So
so
they're still
that's the
yeah.
same way people feed off your energy, even in nursing, your patients feed off your energy. I had someone call me the other day, oh my God, this man is bleeding. Oh my God, this man is bleeding. And they ran, and I ran over there. It was a cut in the hand. And, they put a bandage on it. Took him to the back. I'm like, he's stable. Like, it comes, I'm serious. So it just, people try to, and it's normal,
Yeah.
but as a healthcare professional, you have to assess the situation.
Yeah.
It's not just about the loudest screaming is not the sickest patient,
Got you. I like that. I like that. I like that. I
you
had a
know.
discussion with someone recently, and I spoke about my time back. If I go check my blood pressure, how do
Mhm.
I know even before they give me the reading if I know my blood pressure is high? Is I look at the face of the nurse, and when they go and they look into the blood pressure, they look at my face, look at the blood pressure, look at my. I'm like, okay, something is wrong here. Actually, I've even had a case whereby, she called another nurse, please, come and look at this, And I'm like, there's no how my blood pressure wouldn't go up because
Because
of
now,
the way
yeah.
you're actually acting gives me that, panic mode. So I do hear you on that. So that's a very good one. The fourth one I would like to talk about is protecting your energy. How do nurses protect their energy? Because nurses should protect their energy. This can be, for example, hydration. Do you have to drink water? Going for breaks. Sometimes they're like, if you go for breaks, you're not the hardworking nurse because they want. If you're the one moving around, it shows. Oh, this person is always on ground. So people don't want to take breaks because they don't want them to feel. Oh, I'm the lazy one going to take a break. How do you do one task at a time? So what's your shift like to have a survival routine in the hospital?
So one skill set that I tell when I try to orient new nurses is please try to cluster your care. If
Mm,
you master clustering your care, you'll be good. So imagine going to a patient's room. Hey, Mr. James, I brought you. I'm gonna come give you some your blood pressure medicine. Mr. James says, okay. You go out, you go get the blood pressure medicine. This is your blood pressure medicine. Let me go get you some water. You go out, you go get the water. Then take him to. Oh, Mr. James, let me take your blood pressure. Oh, Mr. James. First of all, if I'm Mr. James, I'm like, you know what? What do you want? You know?
yeah,
So you're bothering Mr. James because she could keep going in and out.
yeah,
Also, you wasting more time. You just give him one pill, but you're spending almost an hour just to give a pill.
hmm
Thereby, you have other three patients or
hmm
four in some other hospitals
hmm
waiting for you. But if you were going in and while you pick the blood pressure medicine, you got the cup, you got the water, then you go in and introduce yourself. Oh, Mr. James, my name is, Peter. I'm your nurse. Blah, blah, blah. Probably all Mr. James knows you first. That's not the first time they're going to see Mr. James. And
yeah,
like, and you're like, oh, I brought your medication for you. I'll check your blood pressure before I give you a medicine. You're doing everything in the same room, like without going in and out,
yeah,
and you're clustering your care.
hmm
That's gonna take you about five. Because while you're checking the blood pressure, you're also talking to him and letting him know, oh, I'm gonna be giving you amlodipine, the milligrams, but blood pressure is reading. You're clustering care. So that is something. Because I've seen nurses go into a patient's room and I'm like, they've been in that room forever just to give what? One pill or two. So once you learn how to cluster your care, it
mm,
helps you more. So I feel like that's gonna save your energy, protect your energy. You
yeah.
know, you're not just running around. Because running around doesn't mean that you're the best nurse. Also, you're being
Right,
busy. I
right,
tell you,
right. Yeah,
we
yeah,
we have people that could run around from now, but when you look at the assignments, you're like, oh my god,
what
I
have
don't
you
know what to
done?
do. Right,
Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, we're not. I don't think that's it's not a what a measure for
Good,
success. Yeah.
good. So the other last one for the fifth one that we feel that people should do is how to build an alliance with your co-workers, teamwork within the hospital system. Like nursing is a team sport. Okay.
Hmm.
So there are times, for example, like you told the junior nurses, how to cluster their care. There's always someone would like, okay, see, you're not doing this right, you could learn from doing this in a nice way, to encourage people. Do we feel that we need to be able to have that team support in nursing?
Well, I don't like the word alliance on the
Because
job.
okay.
That just made me feel like, oh my god, no, because that's what nursing is about right now. But we should not do that. I feel like we should all work together as a team. And
Okay.
I told when we were talking the other day at work, I said, listen, if one person is drowning and the other people are having fun, that's not teamwork.
Mm,
If one person is drowning, we're drowning together. You know, if we're succeeding together. That's
mhm,
how team spirit is. So having an alliance is not, but recognizing the your good resources
mm,
is key.
Got you.
We're not there to make friends per se at the hospital. We don't have to be
Even at
friends.
work.
Right. However,
Yeah.
I recognize that, oh, that's a great nurse right there. That's a good resource. I could always go to that person and
Got
they
you.
don't push me away. I'm not creating an alliance. I'm recognizing my resources and I'm tapping
Mm,
into it. I might see the nurse tomorrow and just say hello and walk away. That doesn't mean we're going to have lunch together or we're going to, and got after work.
mm.
But I know that at that point, they're a great resource that I could utilize.
Got you. Got
So,
you.
yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I think having that clarity of the five do's we just mentioned makes a lot of sense. And I even learned from it on some of the experiences you shared, and brainstorming this together. But
Mhm.
what are the don'ts that you feel that they should not have? Now we've said things they should do. What are things you feel they shouldn't do? And I'll just mention some of it.
I was gonna be just so picking like opposite of what we said they should do. Don't do it.
Don't do that. All right. That makes sense, though. That makes sense.
Right.
You're so right. Opposite of what we said
Exactly.
you should do, don't do it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
which I'll just give some five things I feel that, I just had to put down in terms of, don't prove yourself by suffering. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone by, like what I said, you don't want to skip your breaks because you feel if I skip my break, they think I'm the most resourceful nurse because they always see me around, or you want to stay late, or it's time for you, your shift has ended. Oh no, I'm gonna wait. I just want to wait behind. So they see that I'm waiting behind, I'm staying late. Don't This is not how to prove yourself. So don't do that. Don't prove yourself by suffering. What do you think, Paul? Peter?
I, I could be Paul today. It's okay. So I kind of feel like
Yeah.
it's right and it's not just about when you are new, right? In an
Mm-hmm.
environment, like in a workplace,
Mm-hmm.
we all feel that urge that we need to prove ourselves. We need to prove that we
Mm-hmm.
belong over there. And
Yeah.
as new nurses, when they start orientation, they want to feel like they're part of the team. They don't want
Mm.
to feel like not doing it. I had a new nurse. Each time you ask her, do you need help? She says no because I knew she needed help.
She doesn't
Because
want to seem like she's
but she didn't want
dependable.
exactly. But we gotta normalize asking for help in times like it doesn't matter how new, seasoned, if it's normalized and they see that even the people that have been there forever ask for help. It's a normal thing. They don't feel bad asking for help.
Gotcha.
So it's just normalizing some standards, like ask for
Mm-hmm.
help whenever. It's okay. We all drown because you might have four easy patients and I have four acute eye acuity patients that I really need help. Maybe all your patient just needs is just some pure meds and they're good. But you're titrating like three different drips. So it's okay to say, hey, can you please help me out? And
Yeah.
that way, don't think of yourself, think of your patient's safety. Because I tell people, it's not about you, it's not personal, but it's about patient care first. Your emotions can come afterwards in terms of you
Mm.
don't know. But because you're denying help or you're not asking for help, someone is suffering right there in pain, waiting for the lauded that's been ordered 3 hours ago, but you don't want to ask for help.
Got you. Okay, that's very good. Now the second one is what you should not do. Don't do this. Is don't normalize disrespect. People seem to like normalize disrespect from even from patients, even from colleagues or from the leadership team. They just okay, oh yeah, it's the patient that said it, so I shouldn't say anything. Or no, it's my colleague said this, don't say anything. Or the leadership said this, don't say anything. Where is that line between resilience and tolerance?
In as much as it's healthcare, it still has to do with service. Okay?
True.
I've seen situations where patients or leadership could say some things. How do you feel about what they said? So it's about being receptive to it. So
Mhm.
for the leadership part, it's easier because you could take it, you know, get the message and approach it and say, okay, listen, you got that, but maybe you didn't like the way it was spoken to you. You could
Yeah,
address
yeah.
that with your
Uh-huh,
leaders,
uh-huh.
and I'm hoping that they could be able to understand where you're coming from if they were being, disrespectful. But with patients, I saw there was a patient that was giving a nurse a hard time, and she was trying to tell some of my coworkers, and I overheard, like, "Oh, don't take that from him. Put him in his place. Just put him in his place." And I looked at the nurse. I'm like, I let them. I didn't say nothing right there. I let them say their stuff, and I just walked right behind her and like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she told me, I said, "Listen, sometimes you could be firm but not disrespectful. Don't cuss him out." Because they wanted her to go in there and give this guy like the talk of his life. I'm like, be firm. Don't
Mhm,
tolerate, tell him we're not, let him know we're not doing this today. I'm going to take care of you. Don't be disrespectful, but be firm. We're not going to tolerate it. And if you feel like
mhm.
your safety is being compromised or you do not feel safe taking care of the patient, speak to your charge nurse or something. We could change assignments for you. Don't let them push you to what you don't want to do. And
Gotcha.
she came back later and said, the patient apologized and said, I was in so much pain, you know, and I just could not. And I've seen that before. Patients come in with so much pain, that's not when the best time, they're not going to be in their best behavior at that point. And you got to realize it's not personal. They don't know
Mhm,
you. It's not against you. But
mhm.
try to make an excuse for them sometimes. However, we're still not condoning disrespect.
That's good. The next one seems like it's more like a Nike slogan. This the don't do number three is don't walk outside your scope. In other industries, people always say, just do it, Nike. Just do it. Even if you don't know how to do it, just do it. But I feel it's different in the healthcare industry. As a nurse, it's not just do it because this is different. Don't let someone push you beyond your scope.
And there's a thin line in that scope of practice.
Hmm.
There's a thin line, like with LPNs and registered nurses. They're both nurses. The LPN might be great. You've been doing 20 years. You can do it. You can like so LPNs don't give blood products, right?
Hmm.
Can they do it? Yes. Have they seen it done 100 times? Yes. But is it within the scope of practice? No, it's not. And this is for the safety of your license and also for the hospital or wherever you're working.
Hmm.
Because if something happens and you've not been trained or checked off on it, and I feel like people see from a distance, like, oh, it's easy, they just hang the blood. But there are other things that comes with it.
Yeah,
The reassessment, the watching out for like, allergic reactions, the things the
exactly.
patient would tell you, and they taught you in nursing school that, oh, when your patient tells you this, oh,
You
red
should.
flag, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
but
Hmm.
you were not taught that. So it's just the education gets to the patient. So it's not about just doing the task. Know your scope of practice. Someone was telling me the other day that you could go online on the board of nursing. There's a scope of practice for every person.
Yes,
Read
there.
it,
Yeah.
and know what
Yeah.
it is. And it
Mm.
might not even be you wanting to do it. It might be your facility or your hospital trying to push you to do it because there's no. So you should
Right.
learn to say, hey, no, there's someone at my job. I give her so much respect when she tells you right away, oh, this is beyond my scope of practice. I I don't blame her. She lets you know. So those are one of the good things you should know. And because if you don't know your scope of practice, you cannot know if you're doing something that it's
Out of
not
them.
within your scope of practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Now, the fourth one is don't let poor staffing become your personal guilt. What do I mean by that? Sometimes, and this also takes us back to the, resources. So you feel like you're short staffed, and because of that, you want to do everything, even if it, gives if it burns you out, but you just feel, well, we don't have this person today, and I need to ensure that everything is going on well, and you just want to do everything. What do you think about that? I know it's how it is sometimes,
Well,
but again,
I feel like I'm guilty for that. I feel like I'm just all over the place. I like to fill up gaps. I like to make sure things are actually moving right. I could be guilty in that regards. Like, so I'll run here, I'll run there, just trying to make things happen. And that's all about when it comes to teamwork. You
Mm,
know,
mhm,
there are times that yes, being short staffed is it happens,
mhm.
but if the if you have good teamwork, good team spirit, and everybody's like equally chipping in to fill that
Exactly.
gap, and it's
Yeah.
not just on one person, it makes it
Mhm,
easier, you
mhm,
know.
mhm.
But if people are, because situations where like I'm doing it and someone comes like, hey Peter, let me help you with this, it takes a lot off you, though you jumped into it, you lead in it, but you could always also ask somebody else, can we do this together? There's
Gotcha.
no this is I don't know how to answer this because I feel like I'm so guilty about it.
Yeah, but so the point here is I hear you, but sometimes don't overstretch yourself when
Correct.
this is what we're
Correct.
trying to pick. We're saying don't overstretch yourself. If you feel that you're doing a
Don't be a,
5-man job,
a
and
super
you
a super nurse.
exactly. If you're doing a 5-man job and you're the only one, don't. Sometimes you need to let the leadership know that, hey, listen, can I get more resources on this because I can't
Correct.
do this alone. You need to, you know, take this up to the next chain of command
Correct.
rather than you doing everything by yourself. So that's the
Correct.
don't we're trying to say today. Now the final one, which is the fifth one,
Woo!
I know you'll like this one.
Okay, I just wanted to be the
No,
fifth
I know
one.
you'll like this one. It
Okay.
says, don't carry your trauma home unprocessed. What do you think? Before I talk about this, what do you think?
I don't know what trauma it
Having
is.
that mental reset, or a peer support before you, like, you witness something and you've not been able to process that, and you just go home with
So
that whole thing.
processing is different for different people.
Got you.
Um, I'll say that I know that when I first started, like, and I witnessed my first patient dying,
Yeah.
you know, my manager then called me in and like, hey, how you feeling?
How do you feel? Yeah.
Yeah, one of my coworkers said, let's take a walk outside,
You don't like that.
because it was so funny. I don't think I ever told you that. The patient reminded me so much of dad. Like,
Mm,
so that was close to me. Like, I'm like, it got to me a little bit, and I had to like take a moment to, take it
mhm,
off.
mhm.
And I love the ED so much because even though we do have people dying in the ED, it's more like a transitional. Like we take care of them, we package them up and send them to the floors. I'm not one of those nurses that come back the next day and say, hey, what happened to that patient yesterday that came in with this? They're living with happy memories in my head. I know they were alive, they smiled at
Mhm.
me. I want to keep that. Do I want to continue to care? But I know how emotional I am. I am emotional. I know I carry things a lot.
I know you are.
Right. So
We know.
right. I've learned to separate that and
Mhm,
control what I have power over. And that's
mhm,
by what I invite into my space and my head.
mhm.
So I see them, I take care of them, I make sure they're good. They go to the floor. I'm not going to search for them if they're still alive after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. No, in my head, I have great memories of them, and that's all that matters. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not coming home thinking about, oh, what happened to Mr. Thing that went to ICU. No, as far as I'm concerned, in my brain, it was alive when he left, and I'm going to keep it at that. Some people are so nosy, they want to check everything out. I'm like, oh my God, he died. What did you go looking for? I know this sounds crazy, but it's just the way I
Mhm.
process my own. I do
Yeah.
not want trauma because we all have things we're going through personally. We all like we have our individual traumas,
Yeah.
you know, and
Mhm.
adding more to it from other people could be a lot.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Now, organizations, we have
Mm,
support, we have um people you could talk to, when you're going through stuff. Like we've had a shooting before, and people were like it was a lot for the ED,
mm.
and management was so helpful. They gave us people to, like, if you want to talk to,
Good.
counselors, talk to them, like, so you could unburden and share your
Uh-huh.
fears.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we need that.
Mhm.
Those are things you cannot control. because it
Gotcha.
happened. But
Gotcha.
things you can control, control it.
I like that. I like that. So I'll just close with this: that if you're a new nurse out there and you're listening or watching us, first, you're not weak. You're still learning. Ask questions. Escalate early. Protect your peace. Okay. So we look forward to the next episode, and look forward to you guys engaging and letting us know how you feel about this. Share your experiences with us. Share your thoughts. Share your comments.